So I'm very surprised to hear this announcement by the government today when it had defended the sale of income insurance to Allianz so strongly during the 6th August sitting of Parliament. I think I heard Minister Tong say earlier that MCCY was concerned that there were no structural protections in the deal to ensure that Income could continue its social mission. But the fact that Allianz would have a majority stake in income insurance under the proposed deal was known at least since 17 July 2024, when Income first made its public announcement. Was this not a concern to MCCY in August? Be that as it may, what structural protections does MCCY expect to be put in place in order for any sale of a co-op or social enterprise to proceed? For example, will it be the case that co-ops or social enterprises will not be allowed to sell a majority stake in their shares to an entity that does not have an explicit social mission?
Mr. Giam, I spent quite a bit of my speech explaining the sequence of events and explaining what we knew as of 6 August and what we knew after 6 August. I hope you've taken that into consideration and into account. And what we knew after 6 August allowed us to look at it cumulatively. On its own, as I mentioned in my speech, losing board majority, losing shareholder majority were not itself factors which allowed us to reach a view that it was not in a public interest. And you appreciate that it is a balancing consideration. On the one hand, there's a strategic interest in wanting the partnership to strengthen Income, to ensure that it will remain competitive. Yes, you lose board majority and you lose shareholding majority, but you take that in the round and on balance. But what we discovered after 6 August, with a substantial capital extraction, shortly after the exemption was granted in 2023, of such a substantial amount, were factors which then tipped the balance. And then we said, as I mentioned in my speech, cumulatively, these factors caused us to have pause, and we decided to review in greater detail, and we realized that this was not something that we should see through as a matter of public interest. So I hope that explains the sequence of events, and that Mr. Giam doesn't see the shadows which don't exist in this case. It's about what we knew on the 6th and what we said, and even if you look at the Hansard transcripts, what we said on the 6th was in relation to overarching purpose and strategic intent of Income looking for a partner. Not so much that we knew the terms of this and we were talking about the terms of this on the 6th of August. I hope that makes that clear for Mr. Giam. As to what would work, I had ventured that in my answer to Mr. Liang earlier. For example, you might ring-fence products using proceeds or surplus from the cooperative as one example. Or you might have terms contractually, even without majority shareholding, which oblige the parties to operate in a particular way to fulfill social mission. So these are some examples of what it might be. But as to what exactly such a deal should look like, I think that would be speculative, and I won't go into that. If the parties decide at some juncture that they want to reconsider this proposal and resubmit a proposal, we'll consider it afresh at that point in time.